And we are back with Prep Recruiting Insider here at NOLA Motorsports Park in Avondale. I'm the coach of PRI, Rick Gailey, along with our insider, Mr. Renee Nato. And Renee, we just finished one signing class, but we're ready to start a new one.
And this is just a list, a starting list for the 2017 class, and the names you may want to keep track of. It'll tweak a little bit now and again, but this is a great list to keep an eye on for the upcoming recruiting class.
And the list starts with a couple of offensive linemen. First on the list, Cameron Mayhew, offensive tackle from Jesuit. Cameron Jackal, another big offensive tackle, this time from Shaw. Travis Jordan, a wide receiver from John Ehret. Daquan Edwards, a defensive end from De La Salle. And Garrett Wallow, a defensive back from John Curtis. That gets the list off and running. Next, we have Corey Dublin.
Corey Dublin, just 285 pounds, won the state wrestling title, good balance, leverage, uses his hands very well. Grandfather and his uncle both played pro football. He started for the Jays as a freshman, finishes his block, should be a good one this coming year.
Next we have Tevin Bush, a running back from Landry Walker.
Home run threat could be in the slot. He's a 100-meter sprinter, strong enough to run inside. He's got a lot of offers from Cincinnati, UL, Tennessee, and Tulane.
Next on the list, Alden Clark made a name for himself in the playoffs, quarterback from Edna Carr.
He's been on the show. Things could begin to heat up with camps coming. Makes good decisions, very smart, makes all the throws, a rifle arm, good football IQ, can make the tight spot throws.
Next we have Justice McCoy, the outstanding quarterback from St. Augustine.
Good over-the-top delivery, maintains eyes downfield, made tremendous stride, played as a freshman in the Catholic League, good pocket presence.
And Jeremy Singleton, next on the list, the wide receiver from Brother Martin.
6 foot 177, cuts at full speed, catches away from his body. He's a very hard worker, runs precise routes.
One of the outstanding athletes in the area. In fact, the quarterback club, outstanding player of the year, John Trey Kirkland, an athlete from Lutcher.
Already committed to the LSU Tigers, may play cornerback, 6 foot 177, exciting with the ball under his arm. A leader, threw for 2,300 yards, 37 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, ran for 18 more touchdowns, a threat.
And a cornerback from John Ehret, Terrell Bailey.
Great hips, good recovery, finds the ball quickly, could be a lockdown quarterback, 6 foot, 180 pounds.
And there's the start of our list. We got some offensive tackles this year in the area, Renee. Those are usually few and far between.
Yeah, and we got some pretty good size, and those guys may play tackle or guard, but it goes to show that things work, it's cyclical, and this year you do have a few guys with a little size that are getting a lot of attention from the recruiters.
And you're looking at those tackles, those offensive linemen, they may go to guard because the linemen just keep getting bigger and bigger, 6'4", 6'5", and 6'4". We're going to see Zach Streif later on. We're going to find out what a real offensive tackle looks like, don't you think?
And know how he plays, and you have to be very smart. And you might notice these offensive linemen we've targeted, they're all very intelligent, and that tells you you really need to be very smart to be an offensive lineman. These guys are.
Absolutely. Looking forward to talking about that with Zach later in the show. Some interesting quarterbacks. The athletic quarterback is really taking over in the area. When you look at an Alden Clark, when you look at a Justice McCoy, and even a John Trey Kirkland, who is a quarterback, projected to be an athlete, you're looking at some very productive quarterbacks.
And these guys are mobile quarterbacks. They're not guys who are necessarily dual threat guys, dual threat, but guys that make good decisions and can put the ball in places, but they have a little mobility about them. They can run if necessary, so that's part of the package of being a good quarterback.
And one of the, in its first part of the list, the defensive end from De La Salle, Daquan Edwards. That's an interesting player there. We had him on the show. Very interesting young man.
6'1", 250, a little undersized, but got a hot motor. He's getting some attention from South Carolina, among others, but he's going to be a good player. You can play him in a number of spots. He's even told us when he was on the show that he can maybe play in a two-point stance, but he can play defensive end or even inside, but he's going to be a good player, get a lot of attention next season.
And Renee, we're getting into the top 10 list of prospects for next year, and it's an exciting group.
Yes, guys are going to get a lot of attention, the headline grabbers, and this will be most of the players you'll hear a lot about for the upcoming recruiting class.
And we're going with number 10, Aldontre Davis, a wide receiver from Lutcher.
Good size, 6'1", 190. Looks to be an LSU Ole Miss battle right now. Auburn a step behind. Good hands, yards after catch. He's a good one.
And someone who might have to make a position change in college, that outside linebacker Derek Munson from Rummel.
6 foot, 200 pounds, a tackling machine. He takes good angles, Rick. You can hear his tackles. He should play strong safety at the next level. He covers a lot of ground. He's an Arkansas commit as of today.
He really knows how to play. Number 8, we have Josh Clark, outside linebacker from Riverdale.
And you know, he's getting a lot of attention, but you know, a lot of people don't know much about him. 6'3", 225, very athletic, plays well in space, comes off the edge. No wasted steps, and it won't be long before this heats up for him and he'll get a lot more attention. He's going to be a good one.
Absolutely, an important position playing against today's spread attacks. Number 7 on the list, someone we had on the show earlier in the year, Keaton Thompson, quarterback from Landry Walker.
Good size, 6'4", 225, commit to Mississippi State. Early comparisons to Cam Newton. Accuracy up to 60 to 65 yards. He can make all the throws. Excellent basketball player. Very mobile, can run. He's a straight A student. He changed his sidearm delivery to more over the top, and it's really helped him a lot.
And another charging Buccaneer defender, cornerback Michael Lee.
4.5 speed. Offers from Missouri, Miami, Georgia, Arizona State, California, Texas, Tennessee, among others. He's the cousin of LSU cornerback Dwayne Thomas. Very athletic, good ball skills. He runs track, 5'9", 195, good against the run as well.
Another defensive back, this time from McDonough 35, Brad Stewart.
He can play cornerback or safety, Rick. He'll come up and challenge you. Very athletic, 6', 195. Auburn just jumped in the mix. South Carolina, Texas A&M, Florida, Missouri, Memphis, and Colorado. Mississippi State looks like the leader right now.
And an interesting prospect here at number 4, Trey Swilling, another cornerback, this time from Brother Martin.
A lot of cornerbacks in this class. Good hips, good breaking the ball, plays basketball, very, very good athlete, natural skills. Georgia Tech, where his dad played, is one looking at among his suitors. LSU, Alabama, Tennessee, Texas A&M, and Florida State just jumped into the fray.
And then moving up toward the North Shore in the piney woods of Amite, wide receiver Devonta Smith.
6'1", 165, 4.45 speed, Rick. That's what they're looking for. LSU, Alabama, Baylor, Georgia, and Ole Miss may be the top 5. A one-time Georgia commit. He's a playmaker, super in space, great separation, and good catching radius.
And someone that we got to see a lot of last year, Bruce Jordan Swilling, a running back, or he could perhaps play linebacker from Brother Martin.
Teams looking at him for different things. His top 5 look to be LSU, Alabama, Oklahoma, Miami, and UCLA. Good vision, very explosive, powerful, one of the best running backs in this class. He is a game changer. Remember, he had 344 yards and 7 touchdowns in a half against St. Stanislaus this past season. He is a game changer.
And another exciting player that had an up and down year, Lowell Narcisse, quarterback from St. James.
He's the chalk of this class, a decommit from Auburn. He reopened the process, has maintained a good relationship with Cameron at LSU. He suffered a pair of knee injuries, but he is a playmaker. The lefty has LSU, Alabama, Clemson, Tulane, Arizona State, Illinois, North Carolina, and Southern Miss among his suitors, but he is a great athlete, and a lot of schools are panning away for his decision.
And while the top 3 prospects are all primarily offensive players, defense really is the theme of this top 10.
It really is, and you got some guys in there, some cornerbacks, as you noted, and Josh Clark as well from Riverdale, but you got some playmakers on defense that certainly can make a difference. And as the process heats up a little bit, you're going to hear more and more about these guys and get more attention.
Absolutely. It's going to be interesting to me to see how Derek Munson develops, because as you mentioned, you don't even have to check your roster to see who makes a tackle. You can hear it.
Sounds like a bad train wreck. He really hits, and he's got good football IQ.
And another player that I'm going to find very interesting in watching his development is Trey Swilling. You see him and you just see star written all over him, but he hasn't quite played up to that level yet. it's going to be interesting to see his development this year.
Well, his dad was a great player at Georgia Tech, and for the New Orleans Saints, he's got great hips and athletic skills. And again, playing basketball helps him a lot as a cornerback, but he can be a lockdown cornerback, and he's going to be very special in the 2017 class.
And with your number one prospect, Lowell Narcisse, it's going to be great, hopefully, to see him be able to play a whole year. Came back from ACL preseason injury to be able to play in the playoffs. Got a scare in the state championship game, but he's spectacular.
He is spectacular. He lifted the whole team up in the dome for the state championship. He's a lefty, good size, about 6'3", 220, very mature young man. He was on the show with us, and he's going to be a great get. He'd be a great addition in that locker room wherever he goes.
When you look at Lowell Narcisse on the West Bank and John Trey Kirkland on the East Bank, that's a couple of really terrific prospects playing the same position in spread offenses. And now they've traded the coach, moved from Lowell School at St. James to Lutcher.
And again, the New Orleans area and down southeast Louisiana, always a lot of athletic skills. We always talk about how many NFL players this area turns out, and this year is no different. Every year, 35 to 40 players from the New Orleans and metro area make it on NFL rosters. That speaks very highly of the talent and the coaching in this area.
And this is getting 2017 off and running with the latest prospects. When we come back after the break, we're going to go from one Northwestern to the other. We had Jay Thomas in Northwestern State. When we come back from the break, we're going to have Northwestern's own Zach Strief, and we're going to find out what a real offensive tackle is supposed to look like. This is Prep Recruiting Insider here at NOLA Motorsports Park in Avondale, here in the Event Center where you can host your next big special event. This is PRI. We'll be right back.